And then I press the record. Coming up on ECG, hopefully Fox's X-Men movies just get canceled.
Fantastic Four or Meh-tastic Four.
Another video game going to the big screen.
Beetlejuice is back.
All this and more coming up on the East Coast Geek Podcast. Welcome to episode 127 of the East Coast Geek Podcast for Friday, March 30th, 2018, where we bring you all the latest news on comics, movies, and gaming. I'm your host, Jeremy, and with me, as always, is Opu. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing pretty okay.
Pretty okay? Just okay, man, not pretty.
Listen, I am adorable.
Okay.
I
And
am lovely.
And you're sitting up too much. You're too tall for your frame now. That's good. Maybe you should just
maybe if I just sit farther back.
Maybe if you just adjust the camera. No one wants to see your cool Civil War Pops t-shirt. It's a bobblehead, so it sucks anyways. God, I don't understand why they ever did that. That is the worst idea ever. Made all the Marvel ones and all the Star Wars
bobbleheads. I don't get that either. I don't know why.
They're crap. And when that spring eventually dies, they're just going to be sad.
Mm-hmm. Or if you're smart, never take them out of the box, and their neck's always supported.
Then what's the point? You can enjoy them at your collection in the store. I mean, am I wrong?
Except I don't have a store.
Yeah, you do. The ones you go to all the time.
No, I don't, because I'm a poor people.
Listen, you go to stores all the time. All you have to do is walk. Oh, by the way, newsflash, especially since you're still outside of your frame. The sales started at Toys R Us, but they're only, I think the biggest was like 10%, with a majority being 5. Though apparently they're going to still be receiving stock for the next 3 months. And by the end of it, it'll be at least, I think, up to 50% on stuff. Like the Nintendo, a lot of the
50%.
A lot of the Nintendo stuff was already 5% off. The little figures, the amiibos as well. And we found some Animal Cross ones at Target that were on sale. That we got the kids for Animal Crossing. Does
the sales stack?
What do you mean?
Like
no,
5% plus the 5%.
It's 5%. I was talking about Target though. Target had a couple of the Animal Crossing amiibos in the clearance section. So. Anyways, that's boring stuff. What have you been up to? Because I've been pretty busy and won't talk about it till we get to that part, since we don't have anything else to talk about in that part, really.
What have I been up to this week? I don't know. I've been working this week, but last weekend, I don't remember if we did anything for last weekend, but last weekend I played Sea of Thieves a lot.
Oh, yeah. There was that. We didn't have a show because I had actually gone on vacation to see family, so I just didn't want to telegraph that before I went, so sorry about that.
That's right, so the terrorists can't get you.
Right, exactly. Anyways, go ahead, Sea of Thieves.
Oh, so anyways, Sea of Thieves, so I have a little anecdote that I'll share. I shared it with you last weekend, is that me and my wife and I were playing, and we were just bringing just a couple of nothing chests in to sell. And while we're there, and we're in just a little sleep, this big galleon comes by, and they shoot at us. Well, it was about time for us to log off, and normally we go and just try to pick a fight and destroy a ship.
Right.
Just to give some finality. So we chase them down, and we end up getting in a fight with these guys, and we end up winning. We kill them all. We wreck their ship, and we managed. And the thing is, these guys had apparently just cleared a fort because they had a ton of skulls in there. They had all this treasure, and we managed to get most of it before it sank.
Wow.
And brought it back. So the moral of the story, people, is if you are loaded down with treasure, and you see just a nothing sloop minding its own business at an outpost, try to leave them alone. They even pulled around the island, dropped somebody off before we left. That guy came to try to attack us, and I killed him. And then we were just going to sail off, and they ended up attacking us anyway. And we're like, okay, well, I guess we're going to go.
Jeez.
Yeah. And I mean, that's kind of what happened with me and Perry, which, hey, Perry, we were playing. We were trying to find somebody to fight us to just end the game. We were heading to one of the active ports. Forts with the skeletons, and these guys had cleared it already. So we just started going after them, thinking, oh, well, they're going to totally take us out because obviously there's 4 of them, there's 2 of us.
Right.
And we end up chasing them to the end of the map and forcing both of our ships to sink, and they lost everything. And the reason we did that was because they exploited the game system where one guy logged off, logged back on, and he just randomly got put into our ship. Because we had a galleon at that point, and
right.
He went and dropped our anchor while we were chasing him. And I was like, that's not him shooting himself into from a cannon over to us, and dropping anchor or beating us or outsmarting us. That's exploiting us in a defenseless way by manipulating the game itself. So we were like, if he had done it the legit way, we probably would have just gave up and logged off.
Yeah.
But then my spitefulness kicked in, and we had to chase him down. Man, I was so furious until we sank him at the end of the map, man. And they were so angry. It was wonderful.
Well,
so another moral of the story: don't try to cheat like that.
Yeah, right.
Because that's unfair. You can't defend against that.
I have heard. Now, I don't want this to spoil any of our fun, but I've heard there's some hacking issues now. I didn't pull an article for it, but I can look it up really quick. Have you played lately, or?
I'll be playing again tonight, and I will probably play a lot this weekend. But
great, you should stream it on the page.
So I may.
Sea of Thieves.
I don't know, because me and my wife get into shouting matches.
Oh, okay.
A lot. Yeah, so we get really into the game, especially me. 'Cause I do not tolerate any failure.
Was that your wife yelling in the background? No.
Close enough.
Let's see. So there. Wow. What? Last fall, they introduced an anti-cheat program called True Play that Windows 10 creators could implement in order to cut down on cheating. Joins the ranks of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds BattleEye and Battlefield 1's Fair Fight system. Sea of Thieves has cross. That's got to be the really upsetting part is the people on consoles having to feel the wake of cheaters from the PC realm.
Yeah.
There is really nothing good in here to talk about. Yeah. These articles... Well, it's Kotaku. I don't know why I'm even looking at it. Yeah, there's people mentioning, but no one with specific examples. It's literally parroting every article. This is why journalism is dead. There's no opinions. There's no facts. It is. I just opened up a second and third article. They both copied exactly what Kotaku said, and basically
we all know how smart that is.
Yeah, right.
Kotaku is the opposite of journalism.
So there's stuff on the forums. There's stuff on the forums from January. So, anyways, all right. Regardless.
There's always going to be that kind of cheating, and that sucks. But I mean, come on, guys, just win. It's just at the end of the day, it's just a game.
Yeah.
Have fun with it.
Yeah.
A couple of other quick things is Dragon Ball Super's last episode for now was last weekend. It was actually pretty legit, pretty well animated for once. Although it. They kind of did the cop out that I thought they were going to do, as in they just brought all the universes back, and then they tried to play it off like, oh, the Xenos, the gods above the gods, above the gods, above the gods, knew that Immortal was going to do that, and they're just going to bring them back. It's like, at no point in this entire series have these two gods ever portrayed anything beyond the IQ of a 5-year-old. You know, that like little trickster mentor type of thing?
Yeah.
No. They've been constantly treated as stupid and immature. That's why everybody has to treat them with kid gloves, is because they will blow up universes and multiverses on a whim.
Great.
At no point. But the cool thing is that they did the way they worded the wish is hopefully it brings back the universes that were destroyed beforehand, because when Dragon Ball Super kicked in, or Battle of Gods, there was only 13 universes, 12 or 13 universes. So they're hoping that brings back the full 18.
Oh, okay.
So that means, several more universes to explore and fight with. But we'll see how that goes. The last thing is the next season of My Hero Academia starts next week.
Nerd. No, I'm just kidding.
That's a good show, I'm telling you guys. And this is going to be an emotional roller coaster of a season. So if you are into that show but you haven't caught up, this is the perfect time. This weekend, marathon it. Courtney, if you're listening, marathon it.
So, I wonder, have you been tracking any news from Chucklefish? The guys who make the publishers for Stardew Valley and the creators of Starbound?
No, I have not.
They are making a Witch Academy game.
Oh, the Little Witch Academia?
No,
or just Witch Academy?
No. It's I can't remember what it's called. I'll have to find the name of it. They just announced that it was Spellbound is what it's called.
Oh, Spellbound.
But it's a magic school game, and it's very much in the pictures look like the graphics of something like Stardew Valley. So that type of art, but has it says an RPG, action RPG with spellcasting that takes place with swords, bows, and bombs. So basically, what everybody wanted from a Harry Potter type game, I guess. Various elements can be unlocked, combined for spells to use it in the game's forest dungeon, where all sorts of rewards await. They're also working to ensure Spellbound's scope is enough to encourage replayability. It's doing this by creating a game without a big linear story arc. Instead, players can expect variety. Yeah, and will feature a similar length of playtime to Stardew Valley. I don't know about that. People play that game for hundreds of hours. It just depends. And it sounds like a mix of Mother and Little Witch Academia, that someone had said in the comment section. And it says, yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. Now I found an article on it.
Okay. The last.
Yes. Well, this looks like a very refined version of Stardew Valley's graphics, which aren't bad to begin with. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah,
but
for
it looks a lot smoother. The character models you see right there.
Yeah.
So I'll probably end up picking this up once it comes out.
Yeah.
I need to get back into Stardew Valley. I really wish it would come out for the 3DS.
When did Red Bull start writing articles? No kidding, I just clicked on a link for this. Are
you on the Red Bull one too? I just realized this is a Red Bull article. redbull.com/GB-EN Spellbound developer Chuckfish interview. What's the H?
There's a new Playboy for the gaming world. All right, the last thing that we got for the banner before we get into the articles, which it's gonna be a slog because there's some disagreements happening before the show.
After it got wings.
Dan Harmon tweeted yesterday that the first new episode of Rick and Morty Season 4 will air on April 1st at 9 p.m. Now, you can take this with a grain of salt, but this is what they did last year and nobody believed him either. So I don't know if he's just banking on that and, making the joke about it. But before everything was ironed out for the third season, they had the first episode done and threw it in there. Which, if it does happen, we'll talk about it next week. But that's an indicator of kind of on the time again when we'll get the rest of the season, which will be later in the year. What do we get it? Like July or August last year? I think it started something like that.
Something like that, I think.
So, just beware. I'll be checking it out that night and see if it happens. And what happened was they ended up streaming it on the Rick and Morty page, and I think they played it continuously on Adult Swim the rest of the night.
Yeah, so. Yeah, that's right. That's how I watched it. Is because it was on the Adult Swim webpage.
Right. It was also
That's
on
how
there.
I watched
It was on the Rick and Morty page, the Cartoon Network page, the Adult Swim page, and then also they were actually streaming it on the Facebook Live thing too. So, and then people were replicating it for the next couple of days or the next week on their Facebook Live stuff too. So, but we'll find out about that later. Let's get into the news and starting a trend, which is kind of something that we talked about before. Well, actually, we talked about the embargo before. But with the change of Disney and their purchase of the Fox Entertainment branch, apparently,
which still hasn't gone through, by the way. They're I think July.
Yeah,
right?
they're still doing the FTC's got to do all their due diligence before it's put through, but it shouldn't have any issues. They're not getting close to a monopoly yet. Anyways, Fantastic Four is going to return to comics. And this is kind of something that's an indicator of what may happen here soon as well, because what's the volume of X-Men comics right now?
It's growing. I mean, the original Logan's coming back.
Yeah, you don't want to talk about the ones that are like super mainstream, like X-Men.
Iceman is ending. Dazzler's getting a one-shot comic, I think. So yeah, so there's been a lot of major changes. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say remind me DC after we're done with this one before we change the subject.
And I do have an addition to this.
I think it's probably what I'm thinking, but
not if it's DC. No.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
DC Black.
No.
Okay, then maybe I know something you don't too. All right.
Okay.
So anyway, so this is kind of, I mean, you put in here that I guess the feud with Fox is nearing an end. I mean, they're buying them out, so yeah. But that was going to be my point. This is like this is an indicator. Fantastic Four. Then we'll start to see a large amount of X-Men as well as their what was the other thing that cut off? Like toy productions, right? Wasn't that one of the things that went?
Toy productions kind of got limited. I mean, and then that means all that merchandise, shirts, and all that. Merchandise in general. Let's just say that.
In general. There you go.
Video games. Remember, the X-Men weren't in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
What about the old X-Men arcade game? You remember that?
Yeah, I think I've got it on Xbox Live somewhere.
Oh, do you? Oh, yeah, that's right. They did do that thing, didn't they?
They did have it out for a while.
What was the X-Men games on the PlayStation? And probably Xbox. It was the RPG one, wasn't it, or action RPG? So it was based on the same engine that like Baldur's Gate.
Oh, the Marvel Alliance ones.
Yeah,
that you're talking about.
Yeah, it was the same engine, the same
X-Men Legends.
Legends, that's what it was. Yeah, that was it was built on the same engine that they used for what was the name of that one series? It was Baldur's Gate something. I can't remember.
Icewind Dale?
No. There was a console version. It was an ARPG, so it played like thanks Perry. It played like Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance. That's what it was.
That's it.
Yeah, that series was a blast. I loved that. It was PS2. It was basically like Diablo. More actiony because it's a button masher, but instead of the way it is on the, probably the way it is on the consoles now. But the oh man, we didn't even put that big rumor thing in there either, which is probably not worth justifying. Anyways,
I mean, we can mention it offhand.
Yeah, the Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance was a lot of fun. I really liked that series. It was, I think, 2 or 3 games long, but it played like Diablo. You'd pick up gear as you went, but it would be a hack and slash type game. You'd have a couple of abilities, a couple of spells, and actually, I think they upped it to 8 things because you could hold down one of the L buttons to shift the buttons. But really, really neat gameplay, a lot of fun, and that X-Men Legends fell into that same path, which is really cool because you got the X-Men. I mean, that's a great property to use for something like that because there are so many. And that arcade game was amazing back in the day. We spent quarters on that, The Simpsons, and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, man.
All 3 of those just I think I even had the Simpsons one too. I don't know if I've got the new.
Yeah, that was probably on the Xbox thing too that I remember. My favorite part was at the end of the first level where you blew up the Krusty heads or whatever with the pumps. Wasn't that what it was?
Yes. That little mini game.
Yeah. That kind of stuff was great. Man, these kids will never know the excitement of an arcade game where you just continuously fed. That was our gambling when we were little kids.
You want to talk about like these microtransactions and stuff? We were hit with them hard.
Man, they're not old, or they're not young.
Yeah, it's not an old concept at all.
Yeah, not a young.
a new concept, I should say at all. It's been around, and we were gullible when we were kids about it. So that's why we're trying to warn you youngsters these days. But so the X-Men haven't been around for a while, so hopefully they're coming back. I think X-23 is getting a mini series now or a full series. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Did you see the statue? I can't remember if it was that one guy with the last name, the Japanese artist with the K. I can't remember how to say it. And I'm not going to butcher someone's poor name because I just want to say something. It's a Wolverine and X-23 statue figure. Really cool.
I don't think I've seen that.
I think I saw it on Facebook. Wolverine and X-23 statue. Apparently I'm not the only one that looked this up. It's the two of them. It's Logan in his yellow and blue costume, and she's got her. I'd send you a link, but I don't know how. These internets are so.
I'll look it up.
Marvelous Collectibles and Entertainment. You just Google it. It's really, really good detail, and I'll put it in the chats. Because it looks really, really cool. It's really nice, and Christmas is around the corner, so no, I'm just kidding. This is probably really expensive.
Yeah, this would be an excellent gift for me.
Holy crap! So there's it's like a Sentinel arm or leg. It looks like Juggernaut's helmet is down there, and the detail underneath X-23.
Yep.
That is really amazing. I saw it just in passing, so I didn't look into it, but that is some detail on there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's everybody's favorite look of Wolverine from the even the cartoons. That was how he looked. But
I don't know. I think the orange and brown one is pretty popular costume, but this is like the classic '90s outfit. Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh man, and look at like the like quilted, not necessarily quilted pattern, but the pattern on the side that underneath his arms and stuff. That looks amazing. Really helps for an audio podcast.
Hey,
whoever downloads this and listens to it on their phone or radio or whatever.
Adam said something about the nickel arcades. Adam, your age is showing. No.
Yes. Old man Jenkins here.
Right. So anyways, where were we?
Off topic.
God,
okay, so
terribly off topic.
They were getting a new comic, which is cool because they're Marvel's first family. They're one of the first comics to introduce like actual character personalities,
but
into their comics. Like these were characters that didn't like instantly get along with each other. They argued, they bickered all the time. They didn't like that they had powers. They were, especially the thing,
reluctant
he was very
heroes.
depressed and angry.
Reluctant heroes.
Yeah, reluctant heroes. And so it was. They really should be more prominent than they are. As amazing as the characters are, and how unique they are in their own ways. Bad news is Dan Slott's writing it. I mean, people might like him, but one, I don't like his online persona, how he treats fans and people that criticize him. I also think
you mean like his wife creating accounts to harass people that are harassing him?
Yes. Well, his idea of people harassing him are like, hey, I read this comic and I don't think it's that great. I'm a fan of Mr. Slott. And then he's like, oh, you're harassing me. Minions attack. So I don't know. It's good that he's finally off the Spider-Man book because his last few arcs. This one, has been reviewing kind of okay, but his last few arcs have been absolutely terrible. Oh my god, I can't stand him. And it's like he doesn't pay attention to his own writing. So I'm just wondering if, like, within 5 issues of the Fantastic Four being back, he's going to kill them off and put in these really crappy characters and try to hype them up as the next big thing. But I don't think, the way the trend is going in Marvel right now, I don't think they would allow that to happen, because all these new characters, these in-name only characters, are dying off. And spoiler alert, Jane Foster finally kicked the bucket.
Yay!
Yay, because that was a terrible arc.
Hanoi Jane's finally dead. No, wrong Jane. My bad.
So, speaking of dying off, this is what I was going to mention. The Inhumans are about to be wiped out. And that ties into the fact that their show's been canceled.
Oh, man. So, I have mixed feelings.
All 2 people that watched it.
I have mixed feelings about that. I feel like it was a really good idea, but I don't know what they could have done to save it. You know what I mean?
Hey, okay, I'll tell you. You want me to tell you? They don't go into New York City. Don't have this fish out of water thing, because that's a tired concept in general. Have it be a political drama, kind of like Game of Thrones, with less rape and murder. Because you have a simple story there. You've got
political drama. Why would you use Game of Thrones? Why wouldn't you say something like Winter Soldier had?
I mean that was espionage. I'm talking about like the game of chess and the not having to fight without, or having to take people out without direct combat, because in one-on-one combat there are not many, if any, Inhumans that can take Black Bolt. He literally just has to whisper a word and you're shattered apart. If not, he just punches you and you're dead. Huh?
Oh, are we talking about the Inhumans?
Yeah, we're talking about Inhumans.
I was thinking about the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
No.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is on the cusp again, too.
Yeah.
That's why I was thinking about that. The Inhumans, I thought they already canceled it, so I was already past that.
I think they finally officially nixed it. I don't know, or whatever. It went on like an indefinite hiatus. So this was how you fix the show Inhumans. Keep them in their home city for a season or 2. Because, I mean, you could have, what was his name? His brother's name, it escapes me, right? Maxis or something like that. Have
Maximus, wasn't it?
Maximus, was it. Maximus, have him sow seeds of dissent amongst the populace, because he's got,
build up to the revolution, don't start with it.
Kind of, yes. And then at the end of season 1 or season 2, have it come to a head, have Black Bolt pushed into a corner, and then have Lockjaw teleport him out, and then boom, you put him in New York, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. crossover right there.
And then Batman swoops in and saves the day.
Also, you do not cut off Medusa's hair. You idiots. Remember that? They cut off her hair.
Yeah. Isn't that how you said that they dealt with her whole thing?
Yes. Well, she's pretty powerful. It's on paper, it's a ridiculous power. I manipulate her hair. Or she manipulates her hair as a weapon. But then you realize that she can crush stuff with the hair, and she can make it grow longer and whatever. Well, at least in the comics, kind of. Of course, that could be just the artist just extending it, because it's kind of hard to keep a solid measurement.
Entertainment Weekly released a picture today. Sorry to cut you off. It's freaking what's his name? It's freaking Bill and Ted in a phone booth.
Oh yeah. I didn't know if you want. So Bill and Ted 3 still being made. Spoiler alert, everybody. Even though that's the movie section, you should have saved it.
Sorry, I just saw it. I was distracted because you were talking about the Inhumans, and I thought it was done already. It's dead.
Comic.
Stop.
I'm talking about the comics. So they're doing an arc where the Inhumans are wiped out.
That's good.
Because they're going to start a big push for the mutants, I guess, to come back. Because everybody loves mutants.
Nobody cares about the Inhumans living on the backside of the moon. Nobody cares. Everybody loves the mutants. Unfortunately, so I got a question really quick. Let's not get too deep into it, but you can just one word answer, yes or no. Were the Inhumans created because they lost the X-Men? How long have the Inhumans been around? So then why do they even...
Humans have been around for like 50 years, man.
Why do they even exist?
What do you mean? Like in the
they're
comics?
Not popular. Yeah, they're not popular. The X-Men are wildly popular.
I mean, well, they were created actually. I think they were created as part of the Fantastic Four lore. I'm not too sure. I think they were introduced in Fantastic Four. So the Inhumans are the results of the Celestials tampering with the human genome, or whatever you want to say, thousands upon thousands of years ago.
Okay. That's
so fine. Yeah. So they've been around what since the 60s? Did you Google it?
No. I was posting something to the page. Sorry.
oh, no worries, then. No worries. But no, they weren't just created because they lost the rights to the X-Men or anything.
That's how new the Inhumans are to me. Oh, look, the first thing that comes up is the TV show. That's not what I want.
Yeah, that's what nobody wanted.
What? No, not that.
First appearance, Fantastic Four.
75.
45.
What? I see no
45.
I see no listings. Publication date. Oh, that's the actual comic itself.
Yeah.
My bad. Yeah, 1965. Okay.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the X-Men. Not the film series. 63. So the X-Men did exist first. Okay.
I didn't say they didn't.
No,
I just said they weren't created to lose the rights.
I was doing that for me, okay? Calm down. All right, let's finish and move on for things that we have. Two things to talk about in the comics that we have no pictures for. The first one was they are talking about doing. I gotta look to make sure that that's what it is. DC Black. Oh, Black Label is what it's called. Okay. So DC's got a new initiative going where they're going to. I can put this back to intro for now. DC's got a thing going where they're about to do a series, a set of mini-series comics that are supposed to be like, I think they said 3 or Meanwhile in the Halls of Justice. I need that. You know what? I have not been able to find a soundbite of that anywhere. I really need to, because I like that one, and that's freaking that's Ted Knight. That's great. Anyways, so they're doing a series of comics. Let's see. This got announced March 8th. I don't know how this didn't get pulled up anytime sooner. Prime examples being like Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns. So like very adult-oriented stories, more extreme stories than the usual. And they're supposed to be outside of the current timelines, so it's just it's a one-off type thing that has no involving in a series.
It's like Marvel's Max series.
They're gonna give
allowing
it to
more blood, guts, violence, and nudity.
Now I heard it on another show, and this is why I brought it up. But one of the let's see, so Superman Year One from Frank Miller and John Romita Jr. Batman Last Night on Earth, Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. I think that was the one they were talking about that they were pretty excited about, because they had done Dark Knight's Metal.
Yeah, which is pretty good.
That's what they said. They said that, and this is one of the hot titles that people are excited about, because of those two specifically. Batman Damned by Brian Azzarello and Lee Bermejo. Wonder Woman Historia, The Amazons, with or from Kelly Sue DeConnick, and who wrote a comic called Bitch Planet, and Phil Jimenez, Infinite Crisis. Wonder Woman Diana's Daughter, working title, bleh, from Greg Rucka. Greg Rucka. And then the other history of the DC Universe from John Ridley, who did 12 Years a Slave and The American Way, which is another one that people are interested in because it seems like that's going to be a more unique piece.
Now, I have to say, I am not excited about Superman Year One. One, Frank Miller is freaking insane.
I mean, The Dark Knight.
John,
got it. Huh? I said The Dark Knight, right? Those are pretty off the hook.
Yeah. And 2, John Romita Jr.'s art, I'm not a fan of. It's really wide and really flat, and there's a few pieces that I like. There, like when he was drawing Enemy of the State with Wolverine, most of that art was pretty okay, but not really. When he drew,
I just sent you a message on Facebook with the link for the article. At the bottom, it looks like they have a working cover for it, and
I've seen it.
Looking at it, it looks really flat because he doesn't have any real definition.
Yeah. Now, and here's the thing. I looked at this. I was like, oh wow, this actually looks pretty good in comparison to most of his stuff.
Oh really?
Like, his art doesn't have any weight to me, if that makes sense. Like when you see somebody punching, it just looks like it. You know, it doesn't immerse you into where like you could see the kinetic force behind it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It literally looks like a still frame, and your imagination can't really process it. There's no weight or impact to the blows. There's no life into the art to me. If you look at Discord, what I just posted in there, you can see what I'm talking about.
You should send it elsewhere because I'll mess up your picture.
Okay. I'll give me 1 second.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
We'll have you.
I
check your Facebook messages.
Yeah, I feel like that. I don't know. It just
now I will. Now, to be fair, I will show, and Jeremy can link this into the chat so you guys see what we're talking about. I will show you some art that I do like of his because I think he can do good pieces. The vast majority just isn't good to me.
That first one was one that you don't like, right?
Yes.
Okay,
I'm not a fan of that. But the second one, I am a fan of. I just think the vast majority of his stuff doesn't have any life to it.
Oh, all right. Let's see. That's terrible.
I mean, again, that's just me.
That looks really flat. He's got musculature, but I don't know what his face is doing. Do you like this one?
I like the Wolverine one. I think the Wolverine one.
He can't do faces.
Yeah, and that might be it.
Because the first one, Thor looks
ridiculous, right?
Yeah, but Iron Man looks fine because he's in a it's a flat mask. I mean, it's metal.
Yeah, but the thing is, he looks like a brick. He doesn't look like. I don't know. It just doesn't have a feel to me. Give me a second. Let me try to find another piece of his. He did the Kick-Ass stuff. The like literally the name, the comic Kick-Ass, and I did not like that stuff. Here's another piece. I'll show you.
He looks like he has a problem with faces. I'm not an artist. I'm never gonna claim that I can draw. I can't. I still have a dinosaur to draw for some reason. What is Superman doing? Is he in pain?
Yeah, I don't know. Look at this one. This Batman. This is a homage to Frank Miller's The Dark Knight. Ironically enough.
Yeah, one of them didn't open. That's weird.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Both of them aren't opening. That's weird.
Wow, that's weird, but I just linked them to you.
Those faces don't look right. The guy can't draw faces.
So you're looking at? Are you looking at the Dark Knight one from Dark Knight 3?
Is that the one that you just linked?
Yeah, with Batman and Joker.
Why are those not working? That's annoying. All right, I'll figure out some way to get them to you in a second here. Yeah. Okay.
So if you're looking at that, let's try to talk it through a little bit for the audience. Well, first of all, everything looks flat. He does this like scratchy, like it looks like everything's stretching, and it doesn't look like fabric really. But he does it with muscles. Like people's skin isn't loose enough to cover their muscles, so it looks weird to begin with when he does it. Second of all, it doesn't look like any it just looks like he's got his hand on Joker's face as opposed to pulling at it. And I wish I could explain this without sounding or looking ridiculous.
It's too late.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to look ridiculous no matter what, but it's just there's no life there. There's no.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They are
involved.
very flat images. They look like pictures. I feel like comics usually have more life to them than that. So,
Yeah.
all right, let's move on because my tablet has now timed out, so I have to pull it back up to play the next thing. And well, did you? Is that all you? You didn't even mention.
I mean, I'm going to just talk about that one. I will probably. I'll probably try to pick up one of these Black Label ones. I'm not sure yet. I'm tired of. Honestly, I'm just tired of Batman. I used to love Batman. I'm just so sick of the overexposure.
Right.
Of him. Like
you mean the Batman universe, right? It's not DC anymore. It's the Batman universe. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it is Detective Comics, so of course Batman's
the world's greatest detective. He exists in Rainbow Six Siege, by the way. I've dubbed Jackal as the world's greatest detective. He has a toolkit that allows him to identify players and ping them on the screen off their footprints.
See, so I call him the thing that gets me these days about Batman. It's no longer him being smart. It's just he's got the tech that does it all for him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like he no longer like in the Arkham Asylum games, and I can understand to a point why they designed it like this for the player. But it's like, oh, well, I activate my headset. Oh, now it's showing me all the footprints, where they're going to. Oh, it matches the soul in a database for me. It's not like I memorize that footprint, that kind of stuff. It's like, you know, Iron Man gets called out on when he uses tech like that. They're like, yeah, without that Iron Man suit, you're nothing.
Wasn't that one of those
Even
things?
Though he still knows hand-to-hand combat and everything.
Wasn't that one of those things where Batman always knew he was tracking the Joker because it looked like he was wearing those really fancy pointed tip heel shoes? The really exaggerated heel where you could actually... It looked like a little...
Are you talking about within the games?
I guess, or even...
No, I was just giving some generic example.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. I'm not specifically talking about a certain incident within the game, but just it's like, well, he used to do stuff like that. He used to actually
be a detective.
It felt more like he used to investigate. Nowadays, it's just, oh, well, all my tech is doing it for me, but I'm still going to call myself the smartest person ever.
Great.
Whatever.
All right, let's go ahead and move into the movies and TV so we can bash on my favorite thing to bash about. I should turn that up. See, the problem is that I always have to turn it down towards the end of a song, so I forget to move it up unless I do it when it happens. All right, so, anyways, here, we'll put this up there. Don't worry, there's nothing happening to Deadpool. Fox's Dark Phoenix and New Mutants film pushed back. There are apparently tons of reshoots happening, as well as, apparently, especially on the New Mutants, some casting issues or issues between actors and director or something like that. Lots of behind-the-scenes issues, which is even more off-putting the fact that the New Mutants may not even be released, which I would be okay with, because I think that they should stop all of the current productions of... Damn it, Adam. Don't do that to me. I want to go see it. Since Adam brought it up, Ready Player One released today. Okay,
I'm hearing pretty good things about it.
The best thing that I heard from a tweet was Ready Player One is a great movie, even though it doesn't really reflect a lot of what's in the book.
Yeah, and that was my thing, is that somebody said the same thing, and I can understand, because they kind of had to bump up the timeline in a way. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's a book.
As opposed to being the references to the 80s and 70s a lot, move it up and make it more relatively modern references, like 90s, early 2000s.
I mean, Tracer's in it, so...
Yeah, and these days. But as long as the spirit of the book was still there, about what it was about.
Right.
But I don't think that they even captured that. But I still want to go see it. I'm curious.
So every now and then, I will make the argument, even though it is sometimes contradictory of even my own assessments of movies, is sometimes you have to just go into it and shut your brain off. And just enjoy it for the movie that it is.
Right.
But it's really hard to do that when it's an X-Men movie because they're trash and they have.
Well, here's my thing is like if I read a book and I'm like I love this book and they're like they're going to make this into a movie. I'm like great. I want to see this on the screen, and they don't make this. They make something completely different. I'm like, so what was the point of giving it this name?
Yeah,
it's in name and only.
Yeah,
you know, it's like they're making a Spider-Man movie. But he carries a Gatling gun around, and he's got robotic wings. I'm like, what's the point of calling it Spider-Man when he's not Spider-Man?
And I haven't finished the book. I'm pretty sure that my buddy Josh has my book, and I'll have to talk to him about it. But for the parts that I have read, I understand. I have a good understanding of how the cadence of the book is just from the first couple of chapters that I've read. So I think I can give a good enough opinion once I see the movie on how it is. My kids both want to see the movie, which is really kind of cool, especially for my daughter because she's a little younger, still into the dolls and stuff, but still really likes things like her and her brother play Roblox all the time, so she's not unfamiliar with living in a virtual world type thing. So that kind of thing really piqued their interest. So maybe that'll be something that we do as long as the wife can stomach it. Otherwise, I'll take the kids and whatever.
well, to be fair, I read the book when they announced that it was going to be a movie like 6 years ago. You know? It was like right when we started this podcast 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, I got my copy through Loot Crate.
Yeah, same way I did. So I can't do that where they're like. They give me the book. They're like, "Oh, this is going to be a movie eventually."
Oh yeah, that's right.
I'm going to read this.
It does say soon to be a major motion picture on the cover, doesn't it? On that copy that came with Loot Crate. Mm-hmm. It was part of their big thing. Anyways, let's go back to the X-Men.
Okay.
I'm still of the firm belief that anything that was on Fox's table should be canceled. Pay the people their money. Oh well, call it a loss and cut it, because you know damn well that none of that material is going to be included in the MCU. Just get it started, start fresh, and get ready to hit the ground running with the new X-Men when they enter the MCU, which, by all indications, is the next phase. I mean, at this point, it's all but a moot point for what's going on. You know what I mean? They made this move deliberately. There was no... I have no qualms with saying that I don't believe that Disney wanted any of the other stuff. They just had a vested interest in getting the X-Men and the Fantastic Four back, specifically for the MCU, because they knew it would enhance that. And the reason why I'm saying this is they spent how much money for Marvel? Do you remember? Was it 4?
It was like 4 to 7. I think it was 4 billion, and they spent 7 billion on Star Wars. Okay, I think it was 4 billion.
No. I think.
Or is it the other way around?
No, I think both of them were about 4 billion. They've just made an asinine amount of money in profits that it's 3 times as profitable as what they paid for it, which has some to do with them handling it and how they have. You can't take that away from Disney. They are the reason why these movies are successful. At least on the see that's what I thought. And you say that 4 billion on Star Wars, but they also own Indiana Jones, which we'll be getting soon.
Which we forgot to put that in the notes, but Indiana Jones 5. Really, guys, do we need another Indiana Jones movie?
I think that Harrison Ford wants Indiana Jones to die as well. Because he would rather have him die than be the father of that little piece of crap from 4. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I would prefer them to stop numbering the movies because technically they're not numbered anyways, and just forget that movie existed. Yeah. Don't even be like, oh look, there's Mutt in the new movie just as an ancillary character that happens to be in a room somewhere. Just forget it existed because it was terrible.
Yeah. So, circling back to what Jeremy was saying, though, is I think that, yes, I agree that they probably should just try to cancel these, just cut the guys the checks, whatever's going to shut them up, maybe give them a chance to re-audition for different characters. Maybe I don't know.
Hey,
I don't know about that aspect of it. But
even say goodbye to freaking Channing Tatum because nobody wants to see that Gambit movie. Find a better actor.
Now, here's the way you could do Gambit. He needs to be in an actual X-Men film first. Let people see his character because he's one that I feel like the way his personality is, you got to see him in context first before you can have a standalone film. That being said, I mean, he's carried several solo comics, and they've been really good comics. That being said, I think that, yes, they need the X-Men will be the next arc because if you think about it, if phases 1 through 4 were the Avengers arc, right?
1 through 3.
1 through 3 was the Avengers arc. The secondary arc, 4 through whatever, 8 or 7, you could do either an X-Men arc. And guess what? You give the characters from phase 1 or phases 1 through 3, whatever, the Avenger characters a rest. And how many years was it from phase 1 to the Infinity Wars?
How many years?
Like 10 years?
We're at like 10 years. They just took the 10-year anniversary photo.
Right. So, this is what I'm saying. Like 10 years, then any characters you want to bring back from the Avengers a full... yeah, I know. For a full new story, boom. Have that X-Men arc go along for a while. Maybe a few Avengers characters show up. But then you've got, if you need to bring in a new Iron Man, that would be the perfect time because you've given people enough time in between the two.
To separate the ideas.
Exactly. That's why when they do these like new Batman actors back to back to back, it doesn't work. Because we just had a Batman film 2 years ago. Yeah. And now you're putting in Ben Affleck. Oh, well, it's been another 2 years, and now we're putting in whoever. You know? George Clooney again or something.
Oh, God, please no.
No. We wouldn't do that. Wouldn't do that.
His only requirement is that it's a nipple suit again.
Yes, the glorious nipple suit. But I mean, there's so many Marvel characters. They could easily do something like that, and it makes sense because there's hundreds of X-Men characters. You've got the X-Force, which are about to debut. You got the main X-Men team. You got Excalibur, the British team. You've got Alpha Flight, the Canadian team, which would be a great movie. You've got
starring Nathan Fillion. No, I'm just kidding. He could be
Nathan Fillion as
North Star.
Not North Star as what was his name? Infiltrator or whatever his name is. The guy that had the power suit that had the energy field around him. He would be freaking great as that. I would have preferred Nathan Fillion as Wonder Man, but that's neither here nor there.
It looks like Infiltrator. No, never mind. That's a list of
Alpha
infiltrators.
Flight.
Yeah, I guess I should.
There's been a couple of them.
I guess I should have Googled Alpha Flight.
Yeah, you might get something you don't want for
Infiltrator.
Yeah. Guardian. Originally, yeah. Then he became Vindicator. That's what I was thinking of.
Oh, he looks awesome. Oh, he's even got appearances in the X-Men. Dude, they could do so many things with these guys. Man, as much as I don't know, having the basically the Canadian Avengers would be really cool.
it would be fun. It'd be a great. I think it'd be a great film.
Are they? Yeah, because the West Coast Avengers are something totally different, right?
So yeah, that's when the main Avengers group split into two.
Okay.
The Hawkeye took a bunch of people to the West Coast, and then there was the East Coast Avengers.
Which is really weird because Tony Stark existed in both.
I mean, he could fly back and forth, though.
I guess.
I guess really any of them could, but Hawkeye in the comics during that time was a much bigger jerk than you've seen on film. He constantly butted heads with Captain America.
What about Pizza Dog?
Huh?
Oh, yeah, Great Lakes Avengers, too. What about Pizza
Dog? Yeah, well, that was the next one I was bringing up. I would love to see the Great Lakes Avengers as a standalone series.
They have, and that's the best thing about it. That Marvel has such a large stable to play with. They would be dumb to continuously pump out Iron Man and Captain America movies. It would be stupid.
Which is what DC's doing. That's the problem. If they would just take a stupid risk, like Suicide Squad was pretty well received in comparison
in the public eye, but it was
in the public eye, but like
crap movie. I mean,
yeah, it's a terrible film. It was a terrible film, but it was pretty well received. If they would just give Plastic Man a freaking movie, he deserves a cartoon show.
Who's that one puzzle guy? He always gets mentioned in one of the shows I listen to. I'm trying to remember.
But the puzzle, like
not the Riddler, not it's some weird name.
Like hero or villain for DC?
Probably villain.
I think there's Checkmate.
No, not Checkmate.
I'm not
they're
sure who you...
Elongated Man.
I like Plastic Man is cooler. Elongated Man's okay, but he's not as powerful, and he's not as fun.
Vandal
he's not as fun of a character.
Sinestro. They have so many bad guys and they never show up in here. This literally goes on forever.
Sinestro was in Green Lantern. He wasn't the villain there, but he was a Green.
That pause was because of that crap movie that was.
Go watch Green Lantern First Flight.
Okay, but
you'll see a good Sinestro. Did you see that movie?
No, but that's an animated movie, right?
Yes, but their animated movies are better than Marvel's live-action movies.
That's what I'm... What? No, I don't think so.
Yes, they are.
Oh.
I will put Mask of the Phantasm, Red Hood, and Green Lantern First Flight up against any other superhero film.
There's so many.
Also,
why don't they do it?
Doomsday movie that's coming out soon.
Why we should save this for a whole freaking episode because I could go on forever about asking. Jesus. Whoa, God, what are you doing over there?
Oh, I'm going crazy. Okay, so
my question was just
said. Let's get back to the Dark Phoenix saga. Okay, so they originally said that they were actually going to be under budget for it. That they were going to be $10 million in the black on their production values. Now they're having to go almost start from scratch in a way with their production. So now they're going to be over budget. Like Jeremy said, that they're introducing a new character either into New Mutants or into Phoenix. I forget which one, and I don't think I put it in my notes. But so Plastic Man attack. He wouldn't attack. I don't have anything red, yellow, and skin colored around here.
Nor does he have superheroes running around him or villains. All right. Yeah, so they need to readdress it. Disney needs to take a long, hard look. Everything got pushed, which means that the deal could go through before. Maybe they could just completely cancel it. It's already done. It's in the can.
So here's
release it on direct-to-DVD. See if it does.
Or Hulu or Netflix or something. And so here's the thing: is I kind of wanted to see New Mutants after finding out that it was going to be like a superhero horror movie. That's an interesting concept.
Yeah,
that Phoenix I was not interested in. I don't like Sophie Turner.
And it was going to have...
X-Men films have been crap.
It was going to have What's-Her-Face in it, too, and I really like
Maisie Williams?
No, not Maisie Williams.
Jennifer Lawrence?
No, not in the New Mutants, right?
Jennifer Lawrence is going to be in Phoenix. Which one?
No, I don't want to see... No, I'm talking about the New Mutants. Let me find the list, because I don't remember what her name is, and I went to the wrong thing. I should go to IMDb, because...
You type in New Mutants.
Maisie Williams... Taylor-Joy. I'm trying to remember. I thought she was in this. She must be in the TV show. What's the TV show?
Runaways?
No, not is it Runaways?
Nagger, which I need to see.
I don't know. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. One of the actors that I've seen in a couple of TV shows now is really good. That probably means she's on the whatever the TV show is that I'm thinking of. But anyways, regardless, they need to just can it. Can it get ready to start up hot and heavy on the new X-Men stuff because it's going to be great. I hope. I also kind of expect them at some point to continue to work in Deadpool. And also keep whatever tech they're using for Colossus. That should be a thing. Colossus, the way he was in the Deadpool movie, is probably how I figured he'd always be.
Like both in looks and personality.
Yeah.
He's probably the most accurate comic book character we've seen yet. Bar none. I don't know, like even another completely CGI character like the Hulk. They're showing him getting his butt kicked way too much for my liking because he's the Hulk.
All right, we're gonna have to.
And the next Infinity War is about the only time he should have ever been challenged. Which I guess he.
I'm gonna start deleting articles. I'm just kidding. All right.
So we're moving on. Those two movies are probably going to be canceled. Let's move on. Beetlejuice is getting a musical. 30 years after Tim Burton's Beetlejuice arrived in cinemas, a musical adaptation is taking the stage. The theatrical division of Warner Brothers announced Wednesday, that was this Wednesday, I believe, that the new musical, which has been in development for 8 years, would have its first production at the National Theater in Washington in October, with the goal of then transferring to Broadway. The musical, a comedy about a ghost seeking to scare a family out of a house, is being directed by Alex Timbers, who did Peter and the Starcatcher and Bloody Andrew Jackson. The songs are by Eddie Perfect, an Australian musician who's also writing the songs for a musical adaptation of King Kong. Why? That is scheduled to open on Broadway this fall. King Kong does not need a musical adaptation. It's fine like it is. The book is by Scott Brown, a former theater critic for New York Magazine, and Anthony King, the former artistic director of the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater. Mr. Timbers,
they had a theater. I remember the Upright Citizens Brigade. It was a comedy troupe that was shown on Comedy Central for the longest time. Or
I think didn't they start off as like a theater troupe though? Then they got the show.
Oh, I don't know. Or is
it the other way around?
I don't know. The world may never know. Thank God Google doesn't exist. All right. I just want to touch on something. It took 8 years to develop a musical for a 92-minute movie.
Well, let's find out why. There's some notes in here. Mr. Timbers, who is also currently overseeing a musical adaptation of Moulin Rouge.
Hey, Mr. Timbers, is this first and middle shiver me? All right, go ahead.
I was trying to actually avoid the pirate jokes. I was trying to avoid them. I will be honest with you. I was trying to avoid them. I'm being professional. This is professional, okay?
Come on, we can't have fun.
No, fun is not allowed, obviously.
No, I said we can't if we can't have fun.
Oh, if we can't, yeah.
Yeah, if we can't have fun, then this ain't worth doing. Come on. All right.
He said that Beetlejuice, he is seeking to translate Mr. Burton's distinctive sensibility. That's kind of an oxymoron. To the stage, including what he called a handcrafted aesthetic and outrageous, edgy humor. One of the things we're focused on is the emotional story of the character of Lydia, who has an interesting inverted arc. She's a living girl obsessed with death, and Beetlejuice is a dead figure obsessed with life. Mr. Timber said, the film is a family drama with the two Deetzes and the two
Maitlands.
How'd you say their name? Maitlands and Lydia and Beetlejuice all in one house. And we're also seizing on the house as a character because it's inherently emotional and theatrical and fun. So, if they're cutting out, it sounds like they're just using. Are they using the Maitlands in there?
Maitlands.
What? The Maitlands.
Are they using? Yeah, they're using them. They're going to be part of the show. I mean, they're the dead.
Well, they weren't. Well, they're not. They weren't a part of the cartoon.
Wait, are the Maitlands the ones that moved in? I'm confused.
The Maitlands were the ghosts.
Oh.
The Deetzes were Lydia Deetz.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, what? They weren't part of the show? They were part of the show. They weren't a main part of the show. They showed up in the show.
No. The Deetzes showed up. The Maitlands didn't.
Perry demands that you use that voice for quotes from now on.
I probably would never be able to make that voice again. I don't know
even for the females? Even for the females? I was hoping... Oh, my God. He's here now. Even for the females, I was thinking, wow, this would be embarrassing if you read this in this deep voice and it was a woman that was quoted.
Well, they said Mr. Timbers, so I'm assuming gender here.
Well, yeah, but they didn't say that again until the middle. That's why I was hoping it was a quote from somebody else.
Oh, that should have been another paragraph then. So it's their fault that I would have messed that up. The musical has had 3 readings and 2 laboratory workshops. I wish we had some theater major on here to explain that to me, because I'm thinking Dexter's Laboratory right now. Alex Brightman, has played the title role in workshops, but the producers have not announced casting for the production. So here's what I demand. I demand that they make the poem that she used in the cartoon in the theater play when she summoned Beetlejuice. Actually, just make the musical into one of the episodes of the cartoon. I've got the cartoon on DVD. I just remembered.
We have some of them too, yeah.
No, I've got the whole collection.
Oh, congratulations.
I wish it came in like a casket or something. Like the Ninja Turtle collection came in a turtle van.
Wouldn't that make more sense for the Addams Family movies or the TV show? The
cartoon? No, that would have worked for them too. I don't know. Like, what else? I mean, it couldn't be
the Munsters.
A whorehouse.
The Munsters. The whorehouse, the best little whorehouse in Texas.
That's what they used. That's what they in the movie though. They put that in the little thing and had him going there.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. God, I want to watch that movie now.
Oh, great. All right, so the only thing I have a problem with is that this isn't like... So, Beetlejuice exists as a caricature of Michael Keaton. Okay? Alright, hear me out.
Okay.
The only person that probably could pull off Beetlejuice is Michael Keaton. That's why I said it would be neat before the show. I said it would be neat if they brought him back to do it like as a once-off the first time through. And be like, this is the end-all be-all. Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice in the Beetlejuice the musical. The character of Beetlejuice is nothing like the Phantom of the Opera, okay? As far as characters go, okay? Dude's wearing a mask. They get a similar-looking guy to play the part. Even down to Gerard Butler playing him in the movie version, okay? And dude, apparently, I did some reading on him after I had seen that originally. He was a lawyer and then quit and went and studied to do the arts and majored with operatic background, okay? So he was perfect for that part. Not to mention the fact that if you go and look at most of the people that have played the Phantom in the stage plays, in that movie, in anything else, have all had a similar facial structure. Take a look. Google that Alex guy. What was his name? Alex Brightman.
Alex Brightman.
Google him.
Okay.
He's not going to pull it off. He can't pull it off. There's no way. And I understand it's a musical, which is even a worse idea than anything ever. This isn't like an episode of Buffy or any other great show that's had a musical, which, by the way, I'm knee-deep in that again. I think I told you about that.
His face looks too small for his head.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. But you see my point, right? The Phantom, for the most part, is wearing a half face mask thing, but the guys that they get to play the part are usually of the same facial structure. So he looks like what the Phantom has basically always looked like in film and stage. Like, even on stage, especially on stage. I've seen it on stage. And the guy that played the Phantom in that run that I went to Toronto to see looks a lot like Gerard Butler in the face, the way he looks. He's got it, the very long face, very full face. It's just the way it's always been. They don't have some skinny dude play the Phantom. The Phantom is a big guy. Beetlejuice is a scrawny little guy, but it's Michael Keaton. I don't think that character exists without Michael Keaton. Sure, somebody can imitate the voice for the TV show, but that's a drawing of Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice. Did you ever notice that? Even the cartoon is animated to look such that Beetlejuice looks like Michael Keaton. That guy can't wear enough makeup to make him look like Michael Keaton or act like Michael Keaton. My point is that Beetlejuice exists because of Michael Keaton. It's kind of like nobody else could ever play Iron Man, the Iron Man we wanted and needed, like Robert Downey Jr. Anybody else we get to play Iron Man will be like, well, he's not as good as Robert Downey Jr. It's always going to be like that, but the reasoning is going to be, Iron Man is being replaced by somebody else that may actually have a different attitude or, personality, which is fine. But this guy is trying to imitate Michael Keaton, not Beetlejuice. He's trying to imitate Michael Keaton. Because Beetlejuice didn't exist before Michael Keaton played him, correct? That's not a property that existed before. Beetlejuice is Beetlejuice because of Michael Keaton.
So, my only real counterpoint to that is that Universal Studios has Beetlejuice every Halloween, played by different actors, and it's not Michael Keaton. For Halloween Horror Nights.
That's a guy in a costume that's not really acting like Michael Keaton.
But it's not just some guy standing on the streets. It's a performance, like a...
I don't know. I'd have to see it. I just don't... I can't mentally see this.
I'm not saying that, and I'm looking at some pictures of some of the guys that they've had dress up as him.
Yeah.
And it looks really, really... Some of them are really close to Michael Keaton's look. Some of them not so much, but others, yeah.
Man, we are running way long, dude.
I know we are. Well, I'm sorry we've gotten...
Too much distractions.
Well, here's the thing. Telling me that we're running long is not going to speed us up.
I know.
Now we're going to talk about how long we're running. But no, so I want, first of all, I want to see how he does, and I want to see... I don't know. I'm going to give it... I'm trying to be more open-minded about stuff these days.
Okay.
Michael
Keaton is the only Beetlejuice. Change my mind.
Michael Keaton is the be-all, end-all of Beetlejuices. But if it's between getting, never seeing a Beetlejuice thing again and seeing one that's, it's... First of all, it's a different medium. So I'm going to give it some more leeway. It's not like the direct sequel to Beetlejuice, which is going to be under a magnifying glass. It's a musical. I'm going to try to give it a chance. But the music can't be good. I'm going to try. Okay, I'm trying here. I'm trying.
All right. So let's talk about what FX isn't going to give a try to. Go ahead.
What are they not going to give a try to?
The animated Deadpool show is canceled. Can it be canceled if it never started?
Yeah. You can cancel production of something.
So apparently, Donald Glover put the scripts online.
Well, he put a correction to that. I will put a correction to that. I'm sorry. He ended up putting one of the and we've got some quotes down here, but one of the reasons FX gave was, Donald Glover doesn't have enough time to work on the show. So what he went and did basically is he posted some of the scripts online, and then he went and typed up a new script within that time span of like 30 minutes to an hour, saying, yes, I do have time. Here's an example of how much time I've got. And so he threw something out there showing. And I'm sorry for cutting you off there. But the test animation also was leaked online. And
I like the part where he got slammed against a container and flattened out. I thought that was...
Yes!
Good.
I thought that was great. That was absolutely great.
But that's what I'd expect from something like Deadpool. I wouldn't expect a normal X-Men to turn into that. But because it's Deadpool and it's a cartoon form... Mm-hmm. That is a form of Deadpool still breaking the fourth wall, because he is in a comic and he knows he's in a comic. So what's Deadpool gonna do? He's gonna flatten out like a what do you call it?
Like a cartoon.
Like a cartoon, I guess. For comedic effect, which was really good, and then he fell over onto the ground too, which was even better. But
so
I did like that.
So yeah, so what was actually animated, because part of it was still animatic, like, they had the outlines and then they showed the areas of, this is how the character's going to move and stuff, was really smooth. Even for test animation, it was very smooth, humorous. One of the things Jeremy pointed out was that they used a lot of clips from Ryan Reynolds from the movie and from Ryan Reynolds' the test footage that he did.
Right.
So it's kind of like a weird circle thing. The reason for that is because they put it in as a placeholder just to show how it would work within the show, because that would be just needless expenditure to get the voice actor in the studio, get the studio people there just to work on, because it's not just he reads that page of dialogue. You have to read a bunch of different dialogue.
Read a couple of different ways, and they'd pick up the best way. Voice acting, if you think voice acting is easy, you should go spend a day with one of those guys. They are worked to death compared to what they get. And we've talked about that before. Yes.
We've talked about like the anime guys that they have to do it. It's a lot of work that they have to do, amazingly enough. Yeah, sure, they could show up in their PJs like what's his face did when he was doing the voice of Jarvis. Of course, then again, he really only had to deliver the lines one way, as neutral as possible.
Yeah.
With just a hint of sarcasm in each line.
He's so good.
But God, he was great. And now he has to show up to be Vision, and he's like, oh, this is miserable. I've got to put on pants.
Well, no, he was very positive about that, even though we're not talking about that
he was obviously joking about it. And
yeah.
But, like, I just like his joke. He's like, I would show up and just read a bunch of words, and then I'd leave in a few hours with a big bag of money. So it's hard to beat that. Yeah, they put in a lot of work, but it's fun. Anyways, so I really enjoyed the test footage. It was great. I thought they captured the personality of Deadpool. They captured the action. They captured how he would be manipulating the medium that he is in, which is animation.
Right.
So here's some of the quotes we got. Due to creative differences, FX, Donald Glover, Stephen Glover, or Stephen, whatever, and Marvel Television has agreed to part ways on Marvel's Deadpool animated series, FX said in a statement. FX will no longer be involved with the project. FX and Marvel have an ongoing relationship through our partnership on Legion, which will continue.
This makes
Stephen Glover. What?
I said that quote makes me wonder if this was a Disney pushed idea to cancel or walk away from it, only because they don't want that to be branded with the rest of the cartoons that they do. There aren't really too many adult cartoons that they're getting from this FX deal or this Fox deal anyways. The Simpsons, distribution rights for Family Guy. But even then, that's on public TV, so that's within the guidelines. With this being a cartoon and being, for lack of better words, basically R-rated, is probably something that Disney doesn't want. So you may already see them kind of pushing their influence in some of these decisions. That's why I said maybe the stuff with FX or with Fox in the X-Men movies isn't just that they're having problems and having to do reshoots, but some of Disney's already pushing in, or Marvel's starting to push in the door and say, maybe we should hold off, or maybe you guys should, because there's always the time of turnover. Like I said, this thing's basically a done deal. There's a very minute possibility that it could get canned, but it's very unlikely.
Disney wants it too bad, so it's not going to be canceled by them, and Fox wants that money.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer for them. So, but here's one of the things that's like stirring up questions besides just Disney pushing it, which they could have done it like backhandedly, is Stephen Glover took to Twitter with some thoughts on the series, which won't be, claiming that there was a specific episode about musical sensation Taylor Swift, which was the deal breaker between their efforts and FX. There was a Taylor Swift episode, Stephen wrote in a tweet, which has since been deleted. It was hilarious, and it was definitely the last straw, LOL. So if this episode was such a big deal, why not just skip it? Just cut it out of the lineup. It sounds, and this is why I say it kind of ties into what you're saying, but it could have been pressure that the Glovers didn't see. It sounds like they just wanted an excuse to cancel it, even though the show would have, regardless of quality, its first season would have been more or less in the bag for ratings.
Right.
Because Deadpool is hot stuff right now at a general audience level. Stephen Glover didn't stop there. He had more explaining to do about Deadpool series, which could have been. Our show wasn't, and I'm wondering what context he meant here, and I think I know what he means. He goes, our show wasn't too black. he wrote in another tweet, which was deleted as well. It wasn't really that black at all, but we definitely wanted to give Rick and Morty a run for the money, and I think we would have part of the game. When they're talking about in context, black comedy or black humor is in dark humor, as in bloody, gory, making fun of death, that kind of stuff. See somebody get exploded on screen, make jokes. Which, if you see that test footage, they do. Yeah, he shoves grenades in people's mouths.
I mean, that's basically the gist of the Deadpool movie. That's what they're talking about. That kind of comedy.
Yeah. And this all comes after Donald Glover shared 14 pages of script from the animated series on Twitter. Donald's tweets have also been deleted. Fan support after seeing the good work.
He probably broke some kind of disclosure agreement. So but at least it was out there for a bit. As soon as it got out there, it probably got replicated anyways.
The moment it hit, and the thing is, like a lot of the news sites that were hosting the test footage, the video's been deleted. But then I just went on YouTube, and after 3 seconds, I found the test footage.
Right.
And it's the moment it hit Twitter, it was a done. They shouldn't even told him to delete them. It's too late. I know they have to. I know he had to, but still. This would have been a done deal. This animated series would have absolutely worked, and I really hope that they push it through Hulu or somewhere else. And
if they can find a place for it, that'd be great. I think that even Archer, as adult as it is, doesn't push the R rating that Deadpool probably would with the black humor.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing that he kind of needs is he needs to be full force out there.
He's not really a little kid's title. He's in a very adult comic, and obviously in the live sense, the movie's incredible. The first one, for what it achieved and what they were able to do with it, and I'm looking forward to more and the hopes that they continue to carry on, even if they have to tone down Deadpool a little bit for something like the X-Force movie or something like that. Even though we're kind of getting that in this second one. kind of. Or at least the early seeds of. Even if they have to bring him down for a united movie with other X figures, and maybe like that one joke, the joke where Wolverine drops the F-bomb before Deadpool does. Deadpool gets upset. So there are ways to do it and do it properly, and maybe this wasn't the time. Maybe it'll be another time, but only time will tell.
Yeah. And the thing, and here's the thing that really upsets me is that just based off that test footage of the animation, it was already higher quality than half of Marvel's current animated shows.
Yeah.
They look awful, like Avengers Assemble.
We've talked about plenty of times, or the Spider-Man show with no shadows on some objects, no shadows on others,
with no depth to it, nothing.
That was flat. Yeah. So, all right. Anything else?
That's it for that one.
All right, let's do this last one because nobody will ever see it coming, anyways. Yeah. John Cena's going to be Duke Nukem in the Duke Nukem movie. I kind of want to say that this is probably a great pick.
Yeah, you know what? I've been thinking about this, and I've been thinking about this hard. It's like, if this movie could have been made in the 80s or early 90s, Arnold Schwarzenegger would have had the physical look because he's more or less built after that.
You could have you could have thrown Dolph in there.
Dolph Lundgren could have done it. Yes, absolutely. Dolph Lundgren could have done it. That's a good one, too. But John Cena is probably our most modern-day version of Duke Nukem in build, I think.
Yeah, probably. There may be some other wrestlers kicking around, but they don't have the talent that... I don't want to accidentally call him talent, but because he did those awful Marine movies, and I'll never forgive him for those. Even though I know he was paying a paycheck. Yeah. I don't know. Anyways, the upcoming movie comes from Platinum Dunes, who has been responsible for other works such as the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and A Nightmare on Elm Street. The producer of the upcoming project, Andrew Form and Brad Fuller, gave fans an update in a new interview with Cinema Blend to confirm that yes, the film is happening, and yes, the "You Can't See Me" champ is at the forefront. But just because just because they have their guy, doesn't mean the ball is officially rolling. They don't even have a script yet, according to Form. Yes, that's. Oh wait, no, I can't do the voice. Yeah, that's what we're working with now. He is. Yes, but that's weird punctuation. Stop doing that.
That's what we're working with now. He is. Yes. We don't have a script yet, so that is confirmed at this point. But if he reads the script and he doesn't like the script, I'm sure there's ways he can pull out. But right now, he's our guy. Yeah, it's missing like commas and all kinds of stuff in there.
So
it's like most likely what the guy did is like, that's what we're working with now. He is. Yes.
Yeah, he's answering a bunch of questions, and they just put it in a paragraph form to try and make it make sense. In addition to confirming John Cena's role, they also talked about borrowing inspiration from Miller's Deadpool film, and how they set the tone by stating, "We are working on Duke Nukem right now. It's going to be about tone. What the frick, man? That's about tone. How do you nail that tone in the way Deadpool nailed the tone? I think we have to do that, and if we don't get the tone right, then we're not going to make the movie." Listen, if you make a contract with a distribution and production company, you're making the movie whether it's good or not. Just ask Yui Bowl on all his movies.
Well, the thing is, he didn't care. He was doing it for tax evasion purposes in Germany, basically. So Duke Nukem. So to have unlike a lot of movies, you have to absolutely understand the character in and of itself. So yeah, so Deadpool is a good example of that. If you don't understand how the character works, the movie's not going to work. Duke Nukem is like, well, obviously he's a parody of an action hero. How do you? But I mean, so you have to like kind of have him in like. I don't know. You don't really. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to be able to do it. You just have to have everybody realize like this absolutely ridiculous world where all these like pig aliens and everything else are in, and everybody plays it serious except for him.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's kind of how you're going to have to go with that. I'm not sure. Oh, you know another good inspiration? Well, obviously, is see how Ash from Ash versus the Evil Dead. Not the movies, the Evil Dead, the 3 Evil Dead movies, but this series now that's running on Stars, which everybody should be watching. Take that as some inspiration about how your world needs to work.
Yeah,
because it's a ridiculous idea, but these characters treat it both seriously and ridiculous at the same time. Right. And it's great, and it works amazingly. Right. And you guys absolutely need to watch that show.
It is a great show. I think they nailed Ash perfectly. I mean, it's Ash, so do you see what I mean? Who could play? There's a great example, Mitch. Thank you for that example. Who else could play Ash?
Well, okay.
Ash doesn't exist without Bruce Campbell.
Counterpoint to that. He's been playing him for 40 years, more or less, as opposed to one 92-minute movie.
I mean, for me, he has been playing that for the past 30 years because that's the only Beetlejuice I've really ever seen, other than the cartoon.
Did you see the cartoon?
That looked like Michael Keaton, and the voice actor did a pretty good job.
Do you remember the art style of it?
Yeah, it was kind of wacky. Whatever. I mean, it's a Beetlejuice cartoon. I remember the sandworms looking goofy as hell.
I remember I loved the cartoon, but like the super gross out skeleton, the Kang version of him before he first wakes up.
Yeah.
After his name's been called 3 times, I couldn't look at that when I was a kid. Like in the roach would climb in his nose.
Oh, God.
I'm a real man, everybody.
Yeah, right.
I'm tough. I raw like deer hearts and stuff. I'm manly.
Manly. When men were men.
When men were men,
All right. Let's do this. This is the last thing we're getting out of here after this because stuff and things. See, and sometimes I have it too loud because I forget to turn it down a little bit for the more quiet ones. I should just level all my sound effects. That would be great, right? All right. Far Cry 5. I bought Far Cry 5. I had a gift card I got from Christmas because, well, Marchmas, as my daughter calls it, because that's what we did when we went on vacation last week. We did Marchmas, so I celebrated Christmas with my family, and I got a $50 Steam card, and convinced my wife to let me cover the $9.99 for Far Cry because I had watched a couple of videos online and was like, how is this not getting more traction all around the world? I was pretty amazed at when I played it, and I'm just going to start this so it can play in the background. For those of you watching at home, because I made a video for my YouTube page to put up there of my antics from the other night playing the game. It was a lot of fun. It has a really, really crazy story about a religious cult who's taking over a valley in Montana. And it's free roam. You can do whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want. As most of those open world games are. There's collectibles. The first zone is the most robust. It's not even the first zone. You can go whichever way you want. It just happens that this zone that they send you to is a little easier for you. Because it doesn't have a lot of the elements that they add into the other areas later to basically strengthen up the forces. Because these guys in this first area really they don't get bowled over, but I'm playing it on hard and it's not too bad. But the gunplay's nice. The vehicles are great. There's a couple of videos of me and one of the friends of the show's doing co-op on here. And we had a blast, and you can play as you can bring in a friend. They won't get any story progress on their own game, so they're just basically helping you in yours. But any money and any skill points that they collect in your game, they transfer over to their game. So there's still character development as you go, but they just don't get story progress, it's not bad. It really isn't, because I'd prefer to do that on my own and just have somebody sub in for one of the NPCs you can carry around. Which there's dogs and bears, and there's a mountain lion called Peaches, or cougar, my bad. A cougar called Peaches. As well as a bunch of human characters that can assist you as well. And random fighters, which is really neat. So they have 9 specialized characters, and then you can have up to 3 fighters that you can collect as you go through that have differing abilities, whether they're long-range fighters or just, melee fighters or stuff like that. The melee stuff is really neat. There's takedowns and things like that. There's a lot of cool challenges and achievements that are tied to you getting more skill points if you want to do them that way. Otherwise, there's collectibles elsewhere. But I won't say the game's without bugs, because coming up in the video that's showing right now, we're about to get blown up, and then I fall out of the car, and my buddy goes flying with the car, because the car freaks out for some reason. Every now and then I've had it to where, especially, it happens more in co-op, and I think it has to do with where the other player is, and since he was driving the car, I think that caused the physics to be an issue. Not a big deal. It really wasn't that bad, but the graphics are amazing. It is so photorealistic that people are mistaking screenshots for like actual pictures, which is really neat. I mean, that's a good thing to boast about for that game. You feel like you're actually engulfed in the environment. The vehicles are ridiculous. There's a lot of real life events that are encompassing around what goes on in Montana, including like the Testicle Festival. It's just what you think it is. There's a big bull testicle feast type thing, but there's a bunch of other stuff involved around it too. But you get a little taste of that, not literally, but scenery wise. There's a lot of comedy in it, but there's a lot of when the main bad guys are on screen, it is eerily realistic and creepy. The voice actors that are playing the characters for the what it is basically a cult run by these 4 siblings. One of them being the main leader, and then the 3 lieutenants. One that's a very atonement-based religious leader. There is a brother that is militaristic in shape and form. So I assume that zone's probably going to be one of the harder ones because they'll probably be a little more armed to the teeth and a little more difficult. And then there's the third one, the sister, who is, from what I can tell, in charge of creation and distribution of a drug called Bliss, which actually turns her followers, well, all the followers, into like super soldiers anyways, because they're in a euphoric state where, not unlike somebody that would be on cocaine, would be able to take more than just one gunshot, you know? Things that you've heard from horror stories in the news that some police have to deal with. But something like that. Lots of funny moments. I can't say enough how much fun it is to play with somebody else, because they kind of limit you to a range. You can kind of split up a little, but it's not like you're wearing a tether with that other player, so you guys can like go wide around a farm or something and encompass it and move in as you need to. God, I can't say enough about it. I'm having a lot of fun just roaming around the first zone because I wanted to kind of hold off until I stream again this weekend. Well, on Monday and Tuesday, when I go into the next zone, because I kind of want to have that, you know, going through the story and have that experience. But I've been doing a lot of hunting and fishing, and the fishing's a lot of fun. The hunting's neat, especially once you get a hang of the bow. And I've seen a lot of reviews that have said, you know, the microtransactions are bad. They're not bad. It's just that those guys that are streaming and doing reviews are playing so fast that they don't have time to stop and do those things to make the money. I'm unlocking weapons like very easily, and I still have like, and I'm not even unlocking them all. I'm unlocking the ones I like, but I have like, I don't know, I think 20 to 30,000 right now in cash. And you can buy silver bars to unlock things, but you don't have to. Everything that you can get in game can be opened with cash that you earn in game, which is nice. And that's one of Ubisoft's new ethos. They no longer wish to release any type of DLC or microtransactions that would adversely affect the game. For all intents and purposes, when you buy Far Cry 5, it's the whole story. The DLCs for it are additional little one-off things, like we were talking about with the comics earlier. It's a self-contained adventure that has nothing to do with the main story. In fact, one of them's about zombies and the other one's about aliens, and the third one I don't remember what it is, but they have no bearing on exactly what's going on. They do probably involve some of the characters, because there was one guy that thought that a Tesla coil could beam him up to the mothership. He's an interesting guy. That was hilarious. So there's a lot of funny things, and he gets zapped.
Okay?
He gets zapped out of his shoes, and his shoes are a collectible item. It's funny. I didn't know about it, and my buddy Scott informed me about it, and he's like, "Yeah, did you pick up his shoes?" I was like, "No." But I guess I'll go back and get them, and sure enough, his yellow high-top sneakers were a collectible item. So, even the melee combat's really neat, and I got to learn how to use the throwing knives, which are cool too. But I can't recommend it enough, honestly. It is an amazing game, and it is totally a great achievement by Ubisoft. And I hope that this is an indication of what we can see coming in the future for Ubisoft from their games, because this is high quality. Lots of people are loving this, especially in comparison with 3 and 4. Even the bad guys are formidable. They're likening them to the bad guy from Voss from Far Cry 3, but saying that this cult would totally walk all over the bad guy from Far Cry 4. So, yeah. I can't wait to play more. I have played 16 hours so far. And I still have stuff to do in the first zone. I am at 48 out of 52 missions, so.
Also, your puppy dog can revive you by licking your face.
And you can revive him by petting him and calling him a good boy. It's great.
Oh.
Yeah, you don't...
10 out of 10, best game.
Yeah, and you don't... There's no, like, whole medical thing when you pick somebody up, one of your companions or your buddy when you're playing co-op. You actually just, like, you do this cross-arm thing to help pick them up. And that's it. But it takes time, so you know, it's not like you're sitting there reviving them for a very long time. The revive is very short, but the animation is what can get you if you're doing it out in the open. So, but that's all I got to say with that. Not sure if I heard about this. Adam just sent me a... Oh yeah, we heard about that. We'll talk about that next week. I'll save that for next week.
Or not.
Yeah,
you never know.
No,
you'll have to just tune in and find out.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and wrap this up here. What do you say?
Sure.
Sound like a good idea?
Sure.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, all of you that joined us in live on the chat. We greatly appreciate your input to the show. It's a lot of fun when you guys participate and shoot things at us. Not literally, figuratively. Please leave us feedback on our show wherever you can get it from, iTunes, the like. That way we can get discovered a lot easier by other people if you rate us highly. Or lowly, and no one will ever see us. We'll be at the bottom of iTunes. And don't forget to check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/StasisGeek.
You can contact us at ECG_podcast on Twitter and our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/ECGpodcast, or our email address at ecgpodcast@gmail.com. Also, visit us at our webpage, www.stasisgeek.com. That's STASISGEEK.com. Or post a comment in this video or a review somewhere, and I'm sure Jamie will tell me about it at 3 in the morning while I'm sleeping.
Yes, that is correct.
And then I'll forget that it ever happened.
Yes, that is correct. All right, we'll be back next week. Until then, stay geeky.